Welcome to another PC Sports Cards PSA submission reveal. We are the largest submitters out there. We've sent in over 30,000 cards already in January. It might even be 40,000. We send in 10, 15, 17,000 cards a week. And what we do is we do one of these reveal videos every single day that an order comes back. Today's no different than any other day, except for the fact that this is going to be probably the most fun submission that I've done so far, because what you can see right now is we got a 75 Topps Hank Aaron up there, and we have a lot of 75 Topps cards here, and that is my favorite set of all time. I just think it's gorgeous. I think it's cool. The colors are there. A lot of different variables in it. Some Hall of Fame, amazing players. We've got some rookie cards in here. Then as we get to the back of the submission, we have some Kobe's and Jordan inserts. This submission is just awesome all around, and I cannot wait to share it with you. It's one of our customers' personal submissions, and I'll go into that as we go through the submission. So, first card up, we have a PSA 6 Hank Aaron. You know, this is a 200 card submission. Obviously, you see a little print defect there. Really nicely cut, though. It looks a little diamond cut when you take a first glance. So, diamond cut is when they're cut at an angle, but that's just the design that we have on the card. There's a little bit of the print defect over here. See how it's white, a little whiter, like little white specks. It's a print defect. We'll see something about that later on when we get some cards that actually have qualifiers. Again, get into that later. So just so you folks know, this is a personal submission. Somebody sent in 100 plus cards. It's a modern submission. Obviously, the centering is way off on this card. It's a personal submission when you send in 100 plus cards of your own that are all in the same level, era, whatever, and we send them in together and you get them back and it's all your order. Nobody else is with you, so they're all your cards. And we tend to do group submission reveals because more people get to see their cards, but this one to me is just Nolan Ryan. I see some whiting in the centering. That's why it's getting the 6. You know, I love this set. I saw this order pop and I'm like, oh, I got to go through this. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we got some really cool high-grade cards in here. We're going to go over a bunch of different things. We have 3 main topics that we'll touch on. 74 highlights. No hitters hurled by Steve Busby, Dick Bossman, and Nolan Ryan. Another one, a PSA 6. So again, this was a what we call a bulk submission. It's cards of $99 value or lower. Little white on top. So I got a 7, really nicely centered. And this is the modern submission, so it's cards from 1972 now through 2018. So we're going to see a crazy variable. So one thing I want to point out on this one really sticks out is the fisheye. So fisheye is a print defect. We talk about it a lot. You'll see it on some modern cards. We'll go through it. It's just a little print defect. It looks like a little eye, so that's why it's called a fisheye. Thurman Munson, PSA 8. Little printing issue there. It's a really clean looking 8 though. I cannot wait for Heritage to come out in the 75 set. I think it's like 3 years away. It's going to be a really, really, really fun set to collect again. Little fisheye. Little mark there. Lee May. PSA 6. Bert Blyleven. Big fisheye down there. I mean, look at that picture. Just him blowing a bubble. I mean, in theory, this is probably a strong 9 or a 10 without that fisheye. One thing we'll get into is when we get to the first card that has a qualifier, we're going to explain what qualifiers are. You can get your cards graded through PSA without qualifiers altogether. Just a little check mark. You got to tell us if you're going to do it through us. If you guys want to use us for submissions, check out our website, pcsportscards.com. We do all of our submissions through there. We are currently closed, but we should be opening back up next week. Brooks Robinson. Fergie. Again, that little thing will ruin it, stop it from being a 10. That's why you'll see such low pop reports. Again, pop report is how many of a certain card are graded in a grade. Perfectly centered, super sharp, little white up there. That's what knocked it first. Big fisheye there. That's what knocked it next. This is such a great change of pace. I love it. Says the print defect going on down here and the fisheye. All in all, these are really, really sharp 75 cards. Mike Schmidt 7, Mike Schmidt 6. Same exact spot, we have an error. So see how this is a print defect going through it? They didn't knock that enough to give it a qualifier, but this one has the qualifier. See how there's white specks all over? You could see a little fisheye there also. So they gave it a PD, which is a printing defect. So in general, that'll knock your value down about 2 grades. So an 8 with a qualifier where there's PD, OC, there's a ton of different ones. There's a mark. There's a bunch of different ones, and that'll knock you down to it. So this would be valued at the same as a 6. That's basically how they work. So when you're buying vintage cards, make sure you're paying attention. I've seen some 1980 Magic Johnsons go off, and 9 PDs are going off for 50 to 75% above a 7, and that you're just overpaying for it at that point. That's not what it's worth. You got to be careful. It's uneducated people buying those cards, and it's unfortunate. It's good for the seller, but it's unfortunate the buyer's not going to end up getting that out of it at the end because it's just not worth that much. Look at that mustache. That is great. I mean, how many Hall of Famers have we seen already? What a great set. Louis Stargell, key card number 100. You'll notice that Topps usually rounds the 50s, or every 50 cards like a key card number 1, then 50, 100, 150, 200. You'll see superstars, Hall of Famers, stuff like that at those numbers normally. So number 1, I think, is Hank Aaron in this one. Number 100 was Billy Stargell. Number 50 was Brooks Robinson. Elliot Maddox. So many sweet mustaches in the 70s and 80s, right? Orioles team card. I'm glad they started bringing team cards back. Guys, comment below. Let us know what cards you like. Let us know what cards you want to see. I mean, tell us what you think of the 75 set. If you don't like the 75 set, or even if you do, what's your favorite set? What cards do you want to collect from these eras? Or are you just a super modern, into that kind of stuff more than anything else kind of person? Listen, that's one of the joys of collecting. Anybody can collect, and they can collect whatever they want. It's one of our number 1 rules is buy what you like. So I should have said this in the beginning. I'll do it now. If you want to watch these videos, see them. We've gotten over almost 2,000 subscribers in the first 6 weeks of actually putting out content and putting this stuff out there. If you want to be one of those subscribers, just hit that subscribe button in the bottom. Click the bell. You get an alert. We do these videos all the time. We're going to change them up. When we see an opportunity to do a video like this, we're going to do it. We're not going to just do the same thing over and over again. You know, we know that a lot of folks, I mean, there's a reason that a lot of people are submitting ultra-modern stuff, ultra-modern basketball specifically. We know you want to see it. We're going to get it out there. But when we have the opportunity for something like this, I mean, I can't pass it up. This is just awesome. Great photos, action photos. Look how off-center this one is. Danny Doyle, PSA 2. Why'd this get a 2? You can see. Can you see it on there? Yeah, you can see. You can see it go through here. There's a crease just going right through the entire card. Hairline crease. It's really tough to see those sometimes. Mantle and Willis, PSA 8. That's a great card. 25 years of Topps baseball, and think about that. That was 46 years ago. So it's a cool card. Little fisheye, whiting across the top, but I mean, this just presents so nicely. Little mark right there, little dot right up top, and we got a 7. 67 MVPs. Yaz and Cepeda. Again, same thing. There's so few PSA 10s from this set. It's absolutely, and there's so few 9s also. You just, with all the print defects and all those issues, you see a lot of 7s and 8s. I'll start talking about this now. One thing we're going to say is, if you're looking to buy vintage cards, you know, we're not the biggest vintage dealers. We do more modern than anything else. We're very straightforward about that. But when you're buying stuff like this, and even now with like the bronze and stuff that's starting to get out of control, you want to look at the pop report, and we'll get into this when we get to the first key card that we're going to go over, which is coming up soon. But you want to buy one above whatever the most graded is. And I'm going to talk about that now because we have the next card coming up. I mean, when you're sending this set in and you get one of these guys and you get a Robin Yount PSA 8, that is just, you know, let's leave that one up there. Talk about Yount for a little bit. We circled it. PSA 8 there, there's 2,100 graded an 8 out of 8,300. Look at that number all the way to the right, though. There are 6 PSA 10s. 6. So the top is the pop report, and the bottom is VCP, VintageCardPrices.com. So that'll say the average trends. You use that a lot when you're buying vintage cards. What you see is the grades across the top. Those arrows mean that it's an upward trend, as if there are many cards that aren't an upward trend. Top number is the highest sale in the last, I think it's the year. Middle number is the average sale, and the red number is the low sale. So what I was about to say was, when you're buying vintage cards, if you're buying for appreciation, you're buying for jumps in value, you want to buy one above the most graded, the highest pop count, right? So you'll see the 7, there's 2,655 of them. And in the 6, there's 2,176. So there's more 7s than anything else. So once you get to an 8, you're in a high grade for that card, and you'll see a big jump in value, and you'll see big appreciation because they're going to be harder and harder to get. Hell, there's only 265 out of 8,350 graded. Actually, you add up all those numbers, right? So actually 8,350 graded, and there's only 265 cards above an 8. So you're going to see massive jumps after you get to an 8. That's why it goes from 344, even that half point grade doubles it basically. And then when you start getting into 9s and 10s, the last 10 did $60,000 on eBay. It's not on here for some reason. It might not have been paid, that's why. So you want to make sure if you're buying for that appreciation, buy the one you could afford, but also once you get to that 8, or once you get to that 7 with some older cards, once you get to that 9 or 10 with some newer cards, that's where you'll see the major jumps. If you look at the prices across the bottom, $67 for a 6, $100 for a 7, $120 for a 7.5, and then boom, we're doubled. We go to more than doubled. We're at $286 average price for an 8. You know, big jump when you start getting to those numbers. And if you're buying to hold it to get that long-term increase of value, that's really where you have to be. And we see that all over the place. And by the way, let's go back to the print defect and to the conversation that we were having about qualifiers. You'll notice if it's an 8 with a qualifier, it's a super clean card. If it's an 8 with a qualifier, all of a sudden you're looking at a 6. So that's a $200 difference in value right there. This is a really, I mean, the back centering is really what killed it, right? Look at that back centering. If this was centered on the back, you're looking at a 9 or a 10 and a huge, huge card. This is a great copy of an 8. You know, this will sell above that average. This might be a new high if it sells. This is a great, great card. So, again, this is a little bit small of a submission. So when we get to something like that, I think that's a key point. I think that's a lot of great information that people don't really know, and that's the kind of stuff that we want to share. We want to educate the most that we can. We want to pass our knowledge down, and that's why we do these videos. You know, we're trying to share with everybody what we know. If you disagree with me or think I'm wrong, feel free to comment. Feel free to tell me. Happy to have that conversation. I'm not going to say I'm perfect. I'm not going to say I know everything, but I've been doing this for a little bit of time, and I picked up a few things along the way. What a great set. I actually bought the entire set raw from somebody. a couple of years ago, and I have it sitting in a book at home. I think I paid like $200 for it, and I graded a few key cards. And Johnny Bench 8, obviously centering, right? A little bit left, right, a little bit top, bottom, little fuzz hanging off over there, back centering again. Graded a few key cards, paid for it, and then I have a few left over. I want to fill it up with some well-conditioned raw cards. I will say we're not there yet, but we hit some Hall of Fame PSA 10's from the 70s in this submission. We have some other Hall of Fame rookies in here. This submission is awesome. I remember putting this one in, 9 OC. I mean, that's super sharp, but look at that centering. That's an example of a qualifier. That's why they have them. There's no way that should sell the same as a 9 or an 8. That would be a 7 if we had no qualifiers checked off. Could even be a 6. Reggie. I'm going to give him a Go Devils, even though not a big Reggie fan. Rod Carew, batting leader. If you like vintage baseball cards, and this set is just awesome. I'm going to keep on saying the same thing over and over again. I really don't care because I love this set. And think about that pop report, right? 6 PSA 10s, 29 PSA 9s. Like, think about trying to put this together in high grade. Like, that's just insane. Think about how many Hall of Fame rookies came out of this set also. Gary Carter. Got obviously Robin Yount, George Brett. Then you get all those other older rookies or early card rookies. Oh, it's a great set. And like I said before, the cool thing about this submission is we transitioned from 70s baseball into 1996 basketball. So we got some really cool 96 basketball. We have we have a couple Kobe rookies in here. We have then we end the submission on some Marvel cards or something like that. It's just a great change up from what we're used to putting out there. So many PSA 8s. Another one, rest in peace, Tommy Boy. Terrible centering on this one, too. Eddie Watt. Doc Ellis. Buddy Harrelson is just missing the glasses for his disguise. Look at this broom. Oh, that is a sweet looking broom on that face. I think there's more guys I think there's less non-mustached baseball players in the 70s than mustached baseball players. See, this is the same thing as the one before, but they didn't hit it for OC. Look at that. But again, the centering in these cards is really hard. Then you throw in the print defects and the fish eyes. You know, this is just a really, really hard set. Look at that. Look at that lip. Oh, I love mustaches. I miss mine now. Maybe I'll grow it back. 9, you got the print defect in the background. You got the fisheye there. But take those things out. Like, put this there. That's a perfect card. That's just... It's unfortunate that it had the printing problems. tried to fall. Not on my watch. Steve Ontiveros. All right. Okay, so you can't see the cards there. Good. All right. Astros. All the fuzzes around the outside. Lower grade card. But think about how many 8s you had. Like, that's just amazing. This is just one of those nicer sets. Obviously, you see the print defect. I think that was a very generous grade as a 9 PD on that one. If you've been paying attention, also, the submitter for this order submitted all the cards in numerical order. Pair of Jim Rice rookies. Three out of 4 stashes. Only one on this one. Another Hall of Famer, Gary Carter here. Two PSA 8 Gary Carter rookies. Obviously, the fisheye's in the same exact spot. That's why it was. That's why the grades are so hard, guys. It was just known. That was just what happened. So if you're sticking around for we have some more baseball coming up. Going to show some more Hall of Famers. We're going to show this one, not a Hall of Famer here, I don't think, but a little common card. Johnny Oates, PSA 10, 1979 tops. Oof. 40 years old. 40 years old, PSA 10. Probably sitting in somebody's binder for however long. Now with the print defect, you see fisheye, 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 dots. Oh, 1972 Willie Stargell. I know I went a little fast over that PSA 10. It's because we're going to get to a better one. Going to get to a better one, guys. Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan 7. Sharp looking 7 though. It's a really sharp 7. Oh, there's a surface issue right here. Reggie 8. Eddie Murray PSA 7. Next up we have Andre Dawson PSA and $500 card. You know, again, you see the big jumps in value. 8 for this set, we're looking at 8 being the most graded. So you want to get 9s at a minimum and 10s. You know, 1/3 of his cards are a 9 or a 10. 64 out of 1,800 or a 10. Like, look at this. Second year, Andre Dawson. Centering's a little left to right, but the back isn't as important in the front. That card is just gorgeous. 43-year-old baseball card. PSA 10. Look at the difference between a 9 and a 10 also. And once you go under a 9, you're looking at $10, right? $15. Cost of grading. You need to be getting 9s and higher. Just awesome. Raleigh fingers. Talk about mustaches. You can't leave Raleigh out of the conversation. We're building that Robin Yount PSA 8 PSA registry. More Reggie. Dodgers card. Tommy John. Some kind of surgery named after him, I think. It's a joke, guys. Sarcasm. Like Garmin. Weak mustache there. Willie Stargell shows you how to do it. Steve Carlton 8. I mean, you could look at these and, like, this is why people ask me a lot. Like, they're like, oh, my cards are in perfect condition. They're all going to get 9s and 10s. Like, it's crazy. I don't even know if I can get it. Let me see if I can get it. I don't have the right lens on. Right? Here, you see that little white mark? That little tiny fisheye? General population people that don't do this for a living, people that don't know how to look at the cards, no way you'll see that. And that little mark, a little diamond cut, you'll see the angling here, goes down a little bit down to the left. You know, it's going to not really mimic it as much over here. So it's diamond cut. A little thing over there. Those tiny little imperfections are going to turn this card into an 8. And we saw it with Andre Dawson. That's the difference between a $500 card and a $10 card. Think about how crazy that is. Oh, yeah, everybody thinks their cards are perfect. Then they come back. You know, this is the stuff that it's hard. It's hard to grade these cards. Alan Trammell and Paul Molitor on this one. Dale Murphy. Oh, I want to cover that up. I want to put that back there for a second. I don't want you guys to see that card until I bring it up. Woo. Then we got Jordan. Jordan EX. This is a nearly impossible set also. You know, Kobe and Iverson, I consistently see 7s and 6s and some 8s come back. Again, 228, 280 is the highest pop. There's a lot of 9s, really tough. But if you look, 280 plus 37 is 317 in my book, and 317 is less than half of 643. So most of the cards in the set are below a 9. Most of the cards graded are below a 9. $300 and $3,000 for a PSA 10. You're not going to see these coming back. Like, this has been sitting around forever. And now we're getting Jordan PSA 9s. Jordan EX PSA 9s. That's insane. It's an absolutely insane grade on that card. You don't see it. A bunch of other really sweet Jordans. I mean, talk about insane photography for cards. Talk about insane photography cards. I'm not a Patrick Ewing fan, even though I'm from New York. I'm not a Michael Jordan fan either. But this is just sick. Look at them just staring. Oh, it's great. Just in awe. Complete awe. Beam Team. This is such a fun video. Total D. Famous Nicknames PSA 9. All great cards. With coating. Tough grades. Now we got a run of Kobe rookies, guys. Skybox Premium PSA 8. Kobe rookies. Oh, these are exploding. Z-Force PSA 9. Really tough card. Really tough grade. White corners. Kobe! PSA 10 rookies. Oh. This guy just has a great eye for high quality cards to get grades like this. Another $1,000 Kobe right here. Again, $9 a card for this submission. I think it's $10 now if you're sending in. Rookie exclusives 9. Shaq Daddy PSA 10. A little white there, but still it's within the variance. Another Shaq Daddy PSA 10. Great submission. Absolutely great submission. So we're getting to the end of it. We have some other cool cards coming up. Just another reminder, if you want to see videos like this and others, hit that subscribe button, click the little bell. I mean, this was a 200 card order, and it took me as long as most of the 300 card orders because it's just that fun to go through for me. Rogers PSA 9. They're going to win this weekend. Frank Thomas PSA 9. Score Frank Thomas PSA 7. Marvel Comics. Cool card. I didn't look up the pop report on these, but I'm sure these are low. Marvel Universe. At some point, that stuff's going to be hot. I don't know why this card was graded. There's got to be a story behind that. I really wish I heard it. Roy Green, PSA 10. Look at the pop. I'm like, oh, maybe it's a really low pop, but it's like 25 out of 38 cards graded or PSA 10. It makes, I don't know. And Charles Mann. So, thank you so much for watching this video, guys, gals, everybody. We're going to do these videos every day a submission comes back. We're going to try to make them fun, try to make it so it's not the same thing every single day. We are the only group that could do this with subs coming back every day. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks again.